people sing happy birthday to you. I feel like that's always like an awkward thing,
It's really
right?
awkward. It's really strange.
Everyone's just staring
I had
at you.
a guy, my best friend in high school. It was on his birthday, and we were all out, like, whatever. We were like a whole big group of us for his birthday. And he comes up to me and he goes, "Bro, start a happy birthday chant."
Hey guys, it's Tracy in the Young Hollywood studio, and I am with Beau Mirchoff. How's it going?
Very well, how are you?
I'm good. Awkward. Speaking of awkward, I could say if I had to be on that show, I wouldn't even have to audition. I could just like walk in, be extremely awkward myself.
Right, straight offer.
Straight.
I'm sure.
So, but it's been such a phenomenon. I mean, it's season 5 now. You just came back and you skipped a year.
We did.
So now you're in the summer, coming after freshman year.
Yes.
So but so much happens in freshman year, right? You go through so much.
It's a really
change.
tumultuous and crazy time. It's the first instance where you're away from like your family and all of that comfort. So can be a really amazing time, or a kind of a negative time, which is the latter for Maddie, for sure.
And I feel like just the jump from going from high school to college, it's like your character, I mean, you went through a lot. You were like this big fish in a small pond.
Yep.
And now you're this small fish in a big pond, which happens in real life to like a lot of people in that scenario. So, but it was hard for your...
Yeah, he didn't really know what to do. He was really popular in high school, and now coming here, it didn't really pan out the way he wanted it to. So now he's come back to Palace Hills, kind of try to recoup and recharge the batteries maybe, and see what he can do. He's kind of second guessing his whole life. He doesn't really know if Berkeley's the place for him. Maybe college isn't the thing for him. So He's in a real crossroads.
And then also with Jenna, I mean, you transferred to go to her school, right?
Well, he
wanted to.
Yes. It didn't really work out for him. Yeah, no.
But
Which was a little crazy, right? He's like, "Hey, I'm coming to Burke or wherever, Wyckoff, fictional place. I'm coming with you." Just didn't even have a discussion beforehand. Just said that. Real creepy.
I mean, is that something you could ever?
No.
You've never done that in real life, I assume, or had?
No, I dropped out of college.
Would you? But would you do that for a girl if you really felt that connection?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a beautiful sentiment. However, the way he implemented it is quite wrong. Yeah.
You gotta talk about it first.
You gotta use your words.
You gotta use your words.
You know, prior to the airplane, maybe have the discussion.
There's so much that goes on. It's showing the summer afterwards. Like, do you think there's going to be rekindling of the romance? Do you actually think that they're meant to be together? There's been so many breakups, getting back together, getting back together.
I don't know if they're meant to be together. High school is such a crazy time. Everything's so magnified, especially your love life. I remember I thought I was going to be with my girlfriend forever. And then it's just stuff happens and stuff, you become petty and you realize maybe there are other people out there, and there are, and who are more in line with your qualities and what you want from life. And that's, college, I almost said university, my Canadian came out. Yeah, that's a time to see who you are and to see what else is out there. You realize there's people that are into the same things as me, or this is a totally cool way to think, and whatever that is, and it opens up a whole new can of worms. But
and also in high school, you feel like that whole world is like, that's your world, but then you don't realize
it's so important.
It's important, but then you think that like there is life beyond high school. There's life even beyond college. It's like you're in that growth stage.
Yes, there's life beyond this moment.
There's life beyond this moment, exactly.
I don't want it to end though.
I know, we have to cherish the moment.
Cherish it. Gotta be present. Yeah, exactly.
But it's a hard time to really, like, you're discovering yourself, you're discovering what you want.
Yeah, you're figuring everything out for the first again. You thought everything was kind of figured out. Your last week of school, you're in high school, you're kind of like, it's the best. You have no responsibilities, you know what you're gonna do, you're going to college. That's the thing. But you don't really think more into that, like what that actually entails. And then once you get to college, you're a freshman again.
But you're directing an episode, which is huge because that's a whole nother element for you. I mean, you've been in front of the camera for so long.
Right.
But now, what was it like? Was there any awkward moments of you actually going
Well,
behind the
nope,
scenes?
it was just smooth sailing the whole no, it was really...
There has to be a story. There's got to be an actual story.
The first shot, I had them put a hole in a wall, which they didn't want to do. I had them cut a hole in a wall so I could put a camera there.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I did.
But for what? Like you were actually trying to get a specific shot?
Yeah, I wanted a shot. everyone was so accommodating and just, they wanted me to succeed, which helps tremendously. So I was really prepared. You know, I'd spent, since season 1, I would shadow our director of photography every day I had off. I would shadow our directors and read books and shoot things and all of that. And I was preparing myself. And then I finally asked, which was like the most nerve-wracking thing. I had a whole pitch, asked them to let me direct, and they were really, really helpful and allowed for it to happen. I've directed theater, so I was
going to say, you're also the co-director of a theater company.
Yeah, called Creative Works here in Los Angeles. So I'm good at talking to actors. There's definitely a skill to it. And so I knew I'd kind of excel with that aspect.
But it must help actually being an actor, that you've been on the other side now, so you kind of understand what the actors are going through.
Totally, and being an actor, you know, like when you get poor direction, it's like, it sucks. It's like, because you don't know what they want exactly. You know they want you to be sad or something, a result-oriented thing, but you're like, but what does that mean? It's a little frustrating. So when you have a director who is able to communicate with you articulately and you know, convey what he wants or she wants, it's really nice. And so I think I was able to do that. At times it's really, because you're kind of like just jumping off. You're like, okay, I want this, but I don't know how to say this exactly. And sometimes it works out. Sometimes you don't sound intelligent, or you don't really convey it as clearly as you wanted. So
were you happy with the finished product and how it came out?
I'm very, very happy.
It was your vision?
Totally. And there's a couple things, but it's like, you know, whatever. But honestly, as a whole, I'm really proud of it. And for my first time out, I think it couldn't have gone much better. So.
Do you see yourself wanting to do more directing
Absolutely.
in the future?
If I'm, you know, inspired to do so, if there's a story I want to tell or something I want to, if I feel inclined, for sure. Just another medium, you know, why not? And
you're also doing Good Fortune, an NBC pilot that you just shot.
Yes.
So tell me a little bit about that, how that all
Good Fortune, it's an ensemble comedy for NBC. It's produced by Will McCormick and Rashida Jones. So it's about a group of friends, basically, and the kind of inciting incident of the series is one of the girls goes to her business conference, and in the conference there is a fortune teller. So she gets her fortune read, and she's told she has 3 days to live. So craziness.
The fortune tellers freak you out.
Yeah, they do
freak me out.
For some reason, I don't.
I would never do it. Would you do it? Because I've walked by and like people will come up to me like, I need to read your palm, and I'm like, do not even come near me. Like I can't.
You know what's funny? Yeah, no. When I like, you know, drive by them all the time, you're like, I kind of scoff. I go, that's silly. Hell, I'll never go in. I'll never go in. Because it terrifies me.
But you have like, I'm intrigued by it.
Absolutely intrigued. Absolutely intrigued.
I feel
like
this person know?
There's probably some who are actually touched, and then most of them aren't. But like, how do you know? Like, if they tell you like, you know, don't go to Japan, and then you don't go to Japan. But what if they're lying? And what if you don't go to Japan? What if your, you know, happiness is in Japan? Now you won't go to Japan. I don't know. It's like, how do you trust what they're saying? I don't know why I want to go to Japan. But apparently I do.
I think you really want to go to Japan. I think we just figured that out.
Now Fuji.
No, but it's true. It's like, why?
Fuji. I want Fuji water. That's what I want.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, they can come up with like the weirdest stuff, and they'll be like, "You are this kind of a person. You need to go here." It just freaks me out.
Yeah, it's a little scary and intimidating.
But it's an interesting.
However, I feel like I'm speaking ignorantly because I don't really know how they work. Like, my idea of what they do.
I guess neither of us really know how they work. We're just talking about it. It's just clearly a fear.
So anyway, the show, she realizes she has 3 days to live.
Yeah.
So she kind of puts her life in order and realizes, like, what does she really want from life? What does she want in these next 3 days? So she lives her life like she's going to die. And so it's an interesting kind of examination to see how you would live if you know, the finish line was so close in sight.
Is there anything that you would do if you were in that situation? Is there like a bucket list that you have that you're like, I have to do these 3 things?
Yeah, I'd marathon Breaking Bad.
You haven't done that yet?
No, I have. I just gotta see it again.
Gotta
see it again before I die. I don't know. I'd go spend time with my family. Is that a lame answer?
What's like the craziest thing that you would actually let yourself do?
I don't know. I'd like streak. Like a political.
Why not?
No,
right?
I don't know.
Why not?
I don't know. I don't know what I would do. I would just try to do give everything away, right? Like just give all your stuff away.
Just give all your stuff away?
Yeah.
Someone's gonna have to
Big
have
guy
it,
upstairs
right?
watching, you know. I mean, I'm gonna die. I gotta get in there.
So, and then I want to get back to awkward. So, I have a couple questions. I want to know, what do you think is more awkward? When people sing happy birthday to you, I feel like that's always like an awkward thing,
It's really
right?
awkward. It's really strange.
Everyone's just staring
I had
at you.
a guy, my best friend in high school. It was on his birthday, and we were all out, like, whatever. We were like a whole big group of us for his birthday. And he comes up to me and goes, Beau, start a happy birthday chant. Start a happy birthday chant for him.
For himself.
He told me to start a happy birthday chant for him. And I was just
I
like,
hope that you did.
okay, buddy, you got it. And I did, and he was like, oh, he like, acted like he was surprised. It was the saddest thing I've ever witnessed. No, but only I knew, so it was okay. I've never told anyone.
You've never told, well.
Till now.
Till now.
He doesn't know who he is.
And then what about when people, this is always awkward, when somebody's saying goodbye and then you walk in the same direction.
Oh, the classic.
The classic.
You always have to acknowledge it. You have to acknowledge it. If you don't, you're both
Go in the same
stewing
elevator
in this.
and then you're riding all the way down.
Oh, that's bad. Yeah. Or at like a restaurant, you know, there's like a door to like or like one exit and there's another exit and you're like, okay, see you later. You always have to ask, where'd you park? That's what you have to do. Where'd you park? Oh, I'm that way too. And then you continue. However, if you don't have that foresight and you just gotta laugh about it. You gotta laugh about it.
That's true. And then what about when when you're waving to a person, but then you're actually waving to the person behind you? That happens to me a lot when you think someone's waving at you, and it's always the person behind you, and then you're awkwardly like, oh, that's not me.
And it's a stranger though, you're saying.
Oh, yeah,
yeah.
Stranger. But you think you know them, and so you act like you know them.
Oh no, I don't do that.
That doesn't happen to you?
No.
Okay, that just happens to me.
Nice, okay. You win.
I win. And then lastly, what about when a party is brought up in front of you and you're not invited?
Never happens.
Who doesn't invite Beau to a party?
That's right.
But it would be an awkward situation in general.
I don't know. If they're like close friends of yours, then that's just why aren't you invited? But like if they're people like, okay, for instance, I think this has happened and it's someone like I know but I'm not really friends with, I'm not offended. I wouldn't invite him or her to my party, right?
But your friend from the birthday might be offended.
He'd be offended. You're right.
He would be offended.
Yeah, okay. So I don't know. You just got to just pretend it didn't happen.
Oh, why not?
Maybe that's not a good answer, actually. Don't listen to that.
But you're just always invited, so it doesn't even matter. And then what about if you run into your ex while on a date?
You got to have another date with you, and you just start making out with them.
What?
Yeah. Payback.
But what if you were the one who broke up with her, though? Then that would be kind of cruel.
Wait. Oh, yeah, right. Okay, good point. Good point.
I'm like really
Clearly
thinking into the situation.
Okay? Clearly that's never happened.
Exactly. But your current girlfriend, because you guys are, I mean, is there anything like your relationship? Is there just something that has ever been really awkward about it, or is it just sort of like smooth sailing?
She's a little lactose intolerant, so, you know. Like,
that's always
you know, I don't know. It's like you can't go for ice cream, and so when I'm eating ice cream, she doesn't have ice cream, and
so you end up going to ice cream and you just eat it in front of her?
Well, what's a man to do? You never have ice cream again? I don't want to live in that world.
That's a tough world to live in.
That's not happening.
So, and then lastly, what are 3 things about you that are the most awkward?
Look,
any qualities that you have?
I saw you looking at my calves, and let me just say this. They're 90% hereditary. I can work out, but they're not going to get any bigger, okay? So that's 1. 2, I've gotten much better at dancing. I'm not a great dancer. I go for it. I have I'm very confident.
Okay.
But to a professional or trained dancer, I'm no bueno.
So your girlfriend who is, she must make fun of you
laughs.
a lot.
Yeah.
What's like your go-to move? Can you?
I don't know. I just kind of listen.
demonstrate?
It's whatever the music is. You know, you just kind of got to go to the beat and do something.
you're-
Sometimes I do like pseudo salsa, even though I don't really know how to salsa.
Pseudos? Okay. So you really you go for it.
I go for it.
You go for it.
And the other awkward thing, I don't know. There's a lot. There's a lot of awkwardness.
I did hear, is it true that when you get really sad that you do like weird loud noises? I heard that you said that before.
Did I say that?
I don't know what that means, so I'm curious. I'm definitely curious about these noises. Something to get over your sadness about something.
Maybe that was like when I'm acting sometimes. Yeah.
So so it
well,
happens.
like I'll sometimes purposely I don't it's like subconsciously happening, but like if it's a scene of anger or something, and I'm not really feeling anger, I'll like screw up a line on purpose, and then I'll like really get upset that I screwed up the line, and I'll like make sounds, and then this is really strange. This is very awkward, but I'll do that to carbonate a real authentic feeling of anger.
Okay, well, to each
Is that what you
their
were
own.
meaning?
Yeah, no, I saw that you said it somewhere. I didn't really understand. That's why I was asking you. I was curious what you meant by it. Lastly, is there any like teases that you can give about the season? So it's the final season, so it must be.
It all wraps up.
It all wraps up.
Real nice. A bow, real nice paper.
That's all we can know? I mean...
No, it's there will be a definitive comment, you know, something will be completed and said, and I think fans will be really happy. There's like a really nice element to it. Am I being cryptic enough?
You're being cryptic enough.
Yep.
I think your fans are pretty much dying now. They're just like, what's gonna happen? So you will have to check it out.
Yes, please.
So thank you so much for coming.
Thanks for having me.